I will say mining has changed so much from what people perceive mining to be. The training that mines offer, not only from a operations standpoint, but from a safety and environmental standpoint. A lot of people don't recognize how mining has come over the years.
Please help us welcome Dean DeBeltz to the face.
Warning, explicit content. This material may not be suitable for children. Listener discretion is advised.
Gotta find a way, gotta be willing to go put in some elbow grease, cause you know nothing that you get in this life comes free. Gotta work all day, gotta pay bills, ain't no time to wait.
Hello miners, hello podcast listeners, welcome into Mining Minds, welcome to this very special episode of this podcast, hanging out with my man Dino Brunson.
Yo, what's happening?
We're privileged tonight to hang out with the third seater in the house, Julie Lucas. What's up, Julie?
Good evening.
And the man of the hour, and I just want to say right now, before I introduce him, he put us on a pontoon boat.
He didn't put us, he invited us.
He invited us on a pontoon boat. We got an inverter for our system to work, so we are actually podcasting from a pontoon boat on Fall Lake.
Yep.
And right next to, or close by.
We're on the edge of the Boundary Waters canoe area.
Yeah, and so we'll talk about that, but sitting here with the one and only man of the hour, Dean DeBeltz. Yep. And Dean, I know you got a great title, a great story. We're going to dive into it right now. Can you start us from where little Dean was? Where did you grow up? Where were you born, raised?
So it's an important question because I was born not too far from here. I wasn't born on the lake, unfortunately. I don't have that story, but I was actually born in Ely, Minnesota, and attended school in Ely throughout my entire K through 12. Left town, as everyone has to. Opportunities to make a living were tough. People got tired of the small town when you go through K through 12, and then so everyone wants to get away for college.
Well, what did mom and dad do for a living?
So my dad was a miner.
Okay.
Worked full time at the mine, and then we also had bar and lounge in town. And so my dad was the second generation to run that. I actually ran that for a while when I came back after college. It was a family business, and so typical Iron Ranger, you work a couple jobs to make a living and make ends meet and support your family and live a good life in the outdoors.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, you got to earn a good living if you're going to be, sitting in a beautiful place like this, at your fingertips in the summertime. I mean, you want to be on the lake, and you're there for sure.
Yeah.
So growing up, played hockey?
I played hockey. Everyone has to play hockey.
Yeah, it's a state rule, right?
It's a recommendation for sure, and if you don't, you got to figure out, anyway, we won't get into that. But
how was your first fight? Because everybody fights,
I'm
right?
sure I was a target because I was a small kid growing up, and I grew out of that, obviously. But no, it was interesting. Hockey was the sport to do here. Everyone played hockey. I played football until I realized, and it only took a year, that cut into outdoors activities like grouse hunting, and it went through deer hunting, and so I was more inclined to do those activities. So I quit football and had the fall and winter off and waited till spring golf to play another sport. So hockey and golf were my two main sports through high school.
Did hockey ever get in the way of your golf swing?
I think it enhanced it.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's on a serious question. I mean, I was a baseball player, and I think my baseball swing, it hacked up my golf swing. So, and I've been working on it for years. I'm still not good, but.
Well, I'm not saying I'm good, but it was, it's relatively similar, and hockey players hit a long ball.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Well, so as a kid or as growing up here, you like the outdoors.
So, yeah, that's a part of the story that I miss is growing up here, typically the summer job was working for an outfitter and being out in the woods. And I was fortunate enough that on this lake that we're sitting on, at 12 years old, I used to run a towboat up and down this lake, which is 7 miles long. And at the end of the lake, there was a mechanical or motorized truck portage at the time. And it's 4.25 miles long. They call it the 4-mile portage. And we used to haul visitors with motorboats into the boundary waters to fish for the day, and then we'd haul them out. So I could do the early morning tows, and then I'd do the late afternoon tows, and sometimes I'd just go and stay at the cabin and get up and do it all again the next day. But I mean, it was a dream job for a kid growing up, and when you had some downtime, might have had a fishing rod in the boat.
Heck yeah.
So my question would be, at 12 years old, could you imagine your 12-year-old when they were 12 doing the same thing you did?
No, it's such a different world. Yeah, it's such a different world, for sure.
But a second question is, you would actually motorized boat all the way through here.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that change?
Well, that hasn't changed because that was a 16-foot boat with a 25 horse because
gotcha.
we would enter into the boundary waters. And the first portion of the boundary waters, a lot of people don't know or don't recognize that, is you can have a 16-foot boat with a 25 horse maximum motor on it, and you're in the boundary waters. That's part of the legislation that happened to create this wilderness.
Yeah, it is a beautiful area. This is day one of us being here, and we got to tour your facility. Maybe talk to us a little bit about, well, before we get there, I should step back and go, what about after high school?
So after high school, I like everyone else, had the opportunity to leave town. So I went to the University of St. Thomas. I got a degree in biology. My minor was in chemistry, and my focus was in biochemistry. And I thought, I got to get out of this small town living, get away from here, and, hit it big in the big city. It didn't take long, recognizing that college starts in the fall. And again, back to the football experience, I wanted to hunt. I doubt I spent more than a dozen weekends at college throughout the 4 years in my undergrad year. I came back here every weekend. I had more miles on my books than or just about as many as I had on my vehicle.
Wow.
Because it was a 4-hour drive back home. I arranged my schedule. I got smart after the first semester. So Fridays I was done early. I could head north, and then I didn't start till later on Monday morning so I could get home or get back to the dorm. Yeah, get back to the dorm late Sunday night.
And mom and dad, they lived right in Ely, or did
yes.
they? Okay.
Yep. And then, so typical back then, you had a home in town, and then you also had a cabin on the lake somewhere. And so you'd enjoy the weekends or go out to the lake to enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah. That is so awesome. You just have that opportunity.
Yeah. So you finished out your degree, though.
I did. Yep.
Yeah. And you said, you know what? I'm going to go.
No, actually, I tried to stay in the cities. I did some research for the University of Minnesota for a little bit, and it was just like something was calling me back here, and so I made the decision I'm going to go back home. And my first job back in Ely, actually, after college, and so the University of St. Thomas is a private school, very costly, and so I really impressed my parents by bringing that degree back home, and I worked for a carpenter. And we did home improvement projects in the area for a couple of years. I worked. Yeah,
but what I'm gathering is you're not afraid to work.
No.
So, you could have came home, sat on your hands, and said, "Hey, just can't find a job, nothing that I'd like." And you said, "No, I'm going to go at least find something."
Well, I will say hard work is in our blood. It's our nature. I had the opportunity, and during my college years, because my dad worked at the mine, I was a summer student, so we made good money. We worked a lot of hours. We always took as much overtime as we could because we knew the season was short. And, that we worked as laborers, cleaning under belts and what have you. And, that hard work ethic was instilled in us as kids. And so, not afraid to work at all. No,
that's awesome.
So somewhere along the lines of when you got out of college, you had to met up with your wife.
Yeah, that was that.
That was a ways out. So you spent a couple of years doing carpentry work and building houses.
Yep.
You just stayed doing that, working that in the summer, and then in the wintertime, there isn't much else to do up here. Where'd you work in the winter?
So we did a lot of interior remodel projects, things like that, and then I also helped out with the family business, which was a bar lounge. And my sister still owns that to this day. And so she's third generation
Oh, cool.
that owns that business. But
Siblings? Siblings?
Yeah.
You got any siblings?
I do. I have two older brothers and an older sister.
So you're the youngest.
I am.
His older sister owns a bar.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
What's the name of the bar?
Dee's Bar. You'll see it downtown.
Okay.
we might have to check that place out.
Well, I don't know if we told you this, but we grew up in a town, and I think this is why it was meant to be that we podcast on the Pontoon, right. Is that we were born in Ely, Nevada. So
Well, that's our sister city for sure.
yeah.
So we're actually today anyway, there is a correlation there somewhere because one of the old timers at the museum that we went to was actually talking about Ely, Nevada and why it was named the way it was. Yep. And I was like, I didn't realize there was actually a connection there.
Yeah, for sure.
So
do you know what the connection is?
I don't, other than it's always been our sister city,
That is so cool because the towns are about the same size.
yeah, they are.
And mining is big
mining
there.
town. Yeah.
So I know what I do know is that when the Pioneer Mine closed, which was our last underground operating mine in this area, a lot of those miners headed towards Ely, Nevada.
Really?
So probably you'll see some names that were similar there as they are here.
Well, that's one thing I will say about this, and I know you can dive into this too, is the history out here. You guys know your history, and you were taught it, or you were raised in it, and you guys appreciate the history.
Or we make it up.
That's true. I don't know how good of bullshitters you guys are.
Well, there's a lot of folks up here that we've met today that I can't believe that they make it up. I mean, you could just we were telling Julie the passion in the mining up here and the minerals and just where you live. It's almost unprecedented. I mean, just the families in the history, which I'm super interested to dive into. It's just, you don't get this in other areas like we've,
at least not where we're at. I mean, there's some history, but not like you guys have kind of talked about and walked through today.
Well, multi-generational stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And so as you decided to do carpentry, what did you decide to do after that? I mean, you loving it?
Well, mining was a thing. I mean,
okay.
In order to make a good living, to support a family, if you could get a job at the mine and you wanted to stay here and you didn't mind the work, that's what you did. And so fortunately, I got a job as a laborer at a now closed mine, hopefully soon to be open project. But I worked at LTV Steel Mining Company outside of Aurora, and it was a long ride. It was a difficult schedule, I will say. We worked around the clock as most miners do. And then an opportunity closer at Cliff's North Shore Mine opened up, and I started as a production truck driver over there. Kind of worked my way through safety. The mine safety rep position opened. Yeah. Did that, and then kind of worked my way through there. Just not afraid to take on different experiences and try different things. And I think mining is an opportunity when people want to do it, as long as you're not afraid to take a chance, make a decision, do the right thing.
Yeah, the opportunities are there. I mean, we talk about it quite a bit on the podcast that mining provides a lot of opportunity that you necessarily never even seen in your future, right? When you started, it was, I just want to make a living. I'm going to start running a haul truck. And next thing you know, in my case, it's like, man, I'm going to be going to Japan for the third time this year. And for you, it gave you an opportunity to continue to progress your career into where you're at. So,
well, and I will say this too, is that you as an individual weren't afraid to take that opportunity. So opportunity presents itself all the time, but there's a lot of people that won't do it. They'll stay in that said position. Now, a lot of times people dangle money out in front of you, so that makes it more appealing. But to go into a safety role, I'm going to use that as an example. That's what I did. I took a $30,000 pay cut to do that job, but there was other said benefits. So there's opportunity to do things in the industry that you never thought that you would ever do. And you're a college graduate at this point in biochemistry, and then you're driving a haul truck. Mm-hmm. You're running down the road, and you're working nights, you're working weekends, you're working during the shit weather. And I guess my point is that you weren't afraid to step into whatever you needed to at that point to advance your career to where it is now.
Knowing that I was in a place that I wanted to be, I loved to be, and I had the surroundings around me that offered a lot of opportunity to get out in nature and do the things I like to do.
What did you think about running a haul truck, and how was it in the winters up here?
Well, it was, so one of the things that we did at North Shore Mine is you kind of did a progression. So you learned all the different equipment, and it was scary at first. I'm afraid of heights, and someone said, go climb up there and take a look, see what you think. And I could have jumped off the edge, and that would have been the end of it, and I hate to say it, but you get used to it, but you can't get complacent with it because 100%. There's a lot of dangers. But I will say mining has changed so much from what people perceive mining to be. The training that mines offer, not only from a operations standpoint, but from a safety and environmental standpoint. A lot of people don't recognize how mining has come over the years.
Well, I think we talked about opportunity, but they also coach you it, and I'll how do I sub a little caveat to what I'm about to say, I guess, would be, as long as you're a good person, you're willing to work, you're putting the time in, you want to be professional, those opportunities that present themselves, not for just other positions, but other careers within the industry, whether it's a support role or a safety role, you get those opportunities to progress. And the mining industry is really good at, once they get you on that track, keeping you on it. And
well, you get the support. So, you said, and this is something for a lot of people that go, I know nothing about mining. I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm afraid of heights, whatever that case is. There's a lot of support in the industry to help you get through those things. Right. And I think that's important to note too, is that, while you might not have ever done it, I never drove that big of a haul truck. I've never ran that piece of machinery, or whatever the case is that you're doing in mining. There's such a support group there to help you through that process. It's not like you're just going to get out there and do it.
I don't know, man. My first opportunity on a haul truck, my first run by myself, it was middle of winter, and I went, what the hell am I doing here? Why?
I'm not saying it's easy, but I do think that you overcome those fears because you do have that support. So a good example, I came in, I think a year after you started, same mine, and I was like, he's doing it, and if he's doing it, I can do it. You know what I mean? So you look at other people, or you look at other examples, and you go, okay, I got to get smarter about what I'm doing, but there's support there.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, up here with, not only being trained from the mines and progressing, I mean, the camaraderie up here is keeping you there as well, right? Because you got your family here, multi-generational workforce, and you're just making it work. It's not even, I'm sure at some point you didn't even really think about the industry you were in. You were just working.
Yeah, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, so I couldn't imagine my career path any other way.
Well, and at some point, I always, I've been thinking about this. You think you got it figured out when you're younger. I'm going to move away from home. I'm going to move away from what I know. And then at some point you wise up and go, what the hell am I doing? I need to kind of go back home. At least that's how I feel. It's like, as I'm getting older, I'm not getting wiser by any means, but I am realizing what good looks like and what good feels like. And to me, that's the mining industry. Being up here with you guys, we're 1,500 miles away from our home, but this still feels like home. It still feels like family. There's a community here, just like at home. You know what I mean? The people are the same, I guess, is what I would say. Sponsoring this episode of the podcast, excited to talk to you guys about Heavy Metal Equipment and Rentals. Founded in 2001, Heavy Metal Equipment and Rentals has built its success serving Canada's oil sands with the heavy civil and ultra-class surface mining equipment. Now here locally in the 775 and across mines throughout the United States, HME delivers the right size equipment for your heavy civil and mining applications. Need reliable earth-moving equipment for your next project? These guys have you covered. From massive 800-ton hydraulic mining shovels to 400-ton haul trucks and everything in between, they provide the right gear to ensure your project stays on track with industry-leading equipment. You can find out more about these guys today by clicking the links on the episode notes. That'll drive you over to inquiries@heavymetal.ca, or you can always reach them at miningminesllc.com and visiting our business parts page. So you got through into the safety and health side of things. What did you think about that? Because it's a whole nother game, right?
Yeah, and I think it all depends on how you define what that role is. And as I looked at it, for me, it was about the people. It was about, you can have the standard operating procedures and the processes all in place, but you got to realize you can't be there 24/7. So you have to rely on people, and you have to educate people and make sure that they understand why. And I think that's a really important part of health and safety overall. I mean, you have to have all of the other things to support that, but you can't forget it's about people, it's about behaviors, and it's about making sure that people do the right thing.
Yeah, when they're by themselves.
Exactly.
When nobody's around to watch what they're doing, they're making these cognitive decisions because it's better for the group, better for themselves, etc.
Well, they're policing themselves, and I mean, really, it's how do I say, it's a better culture in a mine, and it sounds like that's where the way you were working towards is when people can police each other or can take care of each other and have that camaraderie, and know that they're going to be doing the right things because they're not under the pressure. They're how do you say, empowered to make the right decisions. It makes your job as a safety guy easier.
Yeah, and you're not a safety cop. You can't be that. You know, you can't be that, or else you failed.
Well, if you're in that position as a company, I mean, it's pretty tough to get yourself out of, you know.
So yeah, I guess, I mean, that might be a question that I would ask is, you know, you started in safety, and then a lot of people, again, the misconception out there is that it's dangerous. It's, you know, you're going to get black lung, and, you know, the natural images that everybody sees. What would you say in today's world, what safety looks like?
Boy, that's a loaded question. But I mean, what I will say is, you know, much like where environmental standards have come for mining companies, it's a whole different look. I mean, it's all about people doing the right thing, having the right tools, and having the right, you know, tools at their access to do things correctly. To me, that it's as simple as that.
Yeah, it all flows together, and I mean, I can imagine if you were to look at the United States as a whole. I mean, your guys' environmental policies and the way you guys are running your businesses up here from that angle, that specific. I mean, you guys are up here. You live on these lands, right? I mean, we're out here on the pontoon tonight. You live here. You work here. You hunt here. I mean, multi-generational miners. You guys are trying to do, or you guys are doing the right thing, not only for the people that live here, but also for the land, for your kids' kids to be able to enjoy what you're doing while working in the industry.
Right. And I think that's a really important point, because if you think about our history in mining, Ely was formed in 1888, and it was because of mining. It was also because of logging. And by the way, look around us, it's because of tourism. People wanted to be here this time of year, especially.
Yeah, I bet this time of year is a big one.
So at what point in your career or in life did you go, man, I really know a lot of history? Because I'd like to hear a little bit about Ely and Minnesota mining in general in this location. I mean, today we had some good conversation, but maybe for go ahead.
Well, I was going to say specifically about maybe this area, because I know this area, we've talked about it and learned about it today. This was a huge logging area. Like, this isn't, from my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but this hasn't been here for 10,000 years. It's all been logged. It's all been, is that correct?
Well, I mean, this forest was an active forest. The Boundary Waters Canoe Area itself, you know, there were resorts up there.
Okay.
And so tourism was a big part of that. It was a different type of tourism than we experience today. And I'm not saying one was better than the other. What I'm saying is, it was a transition that was made with the establishment of the federal, forest.
Gotcha.
And so, it was logged. It was different in the past. But with all that in mind, people who lived here lived good, comfortable lives. They worked at mines. They worked in logging. They worked in tourism, and all of that coexisted.
Yeah.
Throughout our history.
Yeah, I mean, it's been done for 140 years, 141 years ago, I think, is the stat we heard today, that the first load of ore went out on Lake Superior 141 years ago this year.
Yep. In July, I think.
Yeah, that was Sedan mine. Yep.
Yeah.
See, we're picking up what you're throwing down.
I like
to where, I mean, yeah, for me, I'm an advocate of this whole area right now. I mean, it's beautiful up here.
Yeah.
You guys are combining mining summer activities, and it just seems it seems like the pressure or the atmosphere of production in the minings. I'm sure you get some of that, but it's not. I guess it's not as visible to me, as a visitor right now.
Maybe. And so I'd like the correlation that you guys, when we were talking about safety and kind of how that's evolved, but safety has always been in the hands of the people at the sites. Yes, you have federal regulations, but really it's driven down and that culture is built within the communities they live in and the sites and things like that. I'd almost like to see environmental go that way. I think that we have an opportunity to drive that from, hey, yes, there's some standards and we have to follow these standards, but we can manage our backyard ourselves.
But I think here it's a bit different because of the surroundings that we have. And Julie, maybe you can speak a little bit more to this, but there's not one person that I know that doesn't respect the nature that's around them and the usefulness of that nature and being able to get out and use it. So I don't know, Julie, if you have any comments about that.
I think you've already hit it, Dean. I mean, we choose to live here because it's amazing outside, and we're not going to want to wreck that. And we do feel that responsibility because we have to face our neighbors. We have to face our other community members. They will know if we make poor decisions at a mine. And that's why I know you took the role you're in. That's why I've taken the roles I'm in, is you want to have that ownership on that environmental protection and help your coworkers understand what they need to do to protect the environment that they may just not know about.
Yeah, well, I mean, man, everybody that we've met up here today, between the projects that we've seen, we haven't met one person that's not very aware of exactly where they want to be as a mine, as a project, and how safe and aware they are of the environment around them.
And the communities that it involves, right? Well, and so continue to walk us through this a little bit, because you did the safety role for a while, and then what did you jump into?
So I had a number of other various roles at North Shore Mine, and so like currently I work for Twin Metals Minnesota, which is a copper nickel project in the area, and the reason that I joined is because of where I live. I saw that you guys visited our office today. It's beautiful.
Yeah, awesome.
And probably one of the newest, nicest buildings in town. We don't get new construction like that around here very much. And so I saw that happening, and someone said, hey, there's a safety role there. And I thought, well, it must be for the future, because I'd see the exploration drill rigs out in the woods and wondered what it was all about. And I thought, well, I should get involved in that. And that's what I've done, so I might as well put my name in the hat and see what happens. Lo and behold, Twin Metals called, and I was hired as a health and safety manager and helped develop the safety process for a small company at that point in time, which we're still very small because it's a project. But I thought to myself, if there's an organization out there that at the beginning wants to instill these values, to build this culture within an organization, I want to be a part of that. And so hearing what opponents of the projects in the area have to say really drove me to make that change. And it was a tough decision because I had a very comfortable living. I had a really good job. I had a lot of good friends. There was 179 of us, I think, at the time that worked at the mine. And I knew every person on the mine site because of my role. And it was difficult to leave, but it was important to leave. And so these projects, these copper nickel projects that we're looking at, and they all have to go through thorough environmental review. They're really important to the future of this area, as far as I'm concerned. I've seen in my history, I've seen the enrollment in our local high school decline constantly because of lack of families sustaining jobs in the area. And so I thought it would be important that we develop a really strong, good project that's sustainable for the future, that provides jobs for the region so that we can fill the empty businesses in town. We can have a vibrant economy, and other people can enjoy this area as much as we do.
Well, what I think is pretty amazing is the company that you're with. They've got, the tenure of the employees that we met today. I mean, 19, 14, 15, and they're guys from here.
Yeah.
You know, to where it's like guys that live and breathe and mine and, you know, have their families, you know, on the lake in the summers and, you know, ice fishing in the winters. They're the guys that you want to bring that culture in, because you know that they're wanting to respect and have the best, cleanest place to be.
They're sincere.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming from the heart, and that's what I'm getting from all of Minnesota on day one is the heart and the pride that you guys have in what you do is second to none.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not something we see a lot of. The passion is what I'll call it. It's not something we see a lot of there. I mean, people are passionate about mining, but from the conversations we've had today, I'm maybe I'll have to cut this out, but I'm going like, damn it, how do we get this across the line? Like, how do we help these guys out? Because you guys are all talking about the right stuff, doing the right things, putting yourselves in the right positions, and you're kind of being, I would just say, stonewalled in a way where it's like, why wouldn't you want to help this area? Why wouldn't you want to help the people in this area?
Yeah, it's interesting because when people come through our doors, and again, the only reason that our door is locked all the time is only because there's so few of us, and if something comes up and we all have to hit the field, we don't want to forget to lock the door.
You got some pretty good core in there too.
But anyway, you know, it's this area is so important to us. The development of this project, doing it properly, making sure we recognize things that are around us, that runs through all of us, and we want to make sure that we do this right. So, you know, fortunately, our parent company is fully on board with that. Yeah.
So what I've learned is that there's a belief in these companies that are coming into, like Twin Metals. These guys are truly, they believe that, hey, they can get this across the line. Specifically your project. Your project, to me, at least hearing about what you guys have done or what you're doing and what the future looks like, to me, from a permitting side, it would be like, this is kind of a no-brainer, but maybe walk us through what that looks like in the project. And I know the scope's changed a little bit because obviously administration has changed, different things geopolitically change, you know, so maybe, but walk us through your project a little bit.
Well, so Twin Metals as a company, we've been, you know, it was formed in 2010, and there's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of, you know, we went from an exploration period to a engineering period to a project submittal period. And now we're in basically a litigation period and making sure that we can secure our mineral rights so that we can move forward. But the beauty of our project, I would say, is the fact that our minerals are where they are. And with any Twin Metals project, we're talking about an underground project. And that's just because of the dynamics of where the minerals are and how they are located below us. Yep. And so I guess when we talk about a Twin Metals project, a future project, and what we decide to submit to agencies for environmental review, we want to talk about the process of that, because Minnesota has stringent standards. The federal government has stringent standards, and we will comply with, if not exceed, all of those standards. What we need is just a fair shot at that process to prove that we can do it right. And there's multiple opportunities for public comment. There's multiple opportunities for, you know, people to engage in that process to make sure that we address their concerns. We've done that in the past with former projects that we presented. And I think it's important to realize the fact that the environmental review process is robust. It's involves public comments. It involves public ability to be involved, along with agencies, tribal governments. We want to get everyone on board so that people understand what we're trying to do. This is not like operating,
Sure.
in a black box where we can't, we don't want to expose anything that we're doing, and all of a sudden we're mining.
That's fully transparent. How it works. Fully transparent.
Right. Well, I think in the position, where the project's at right now, every mine goes through it right during the permitting process. You're an open book, and that's what you want to be. As an industry, that's what we need is, we need that transparency. We need to be able to open up and show the world what we're doing and why we want to do it and why we do it responsibly. because number one, minerals are essential for everyday life. And if we don't continue to look ahead, we're always going to be behind.
And I think that's the misconception of today too, is that we do things better, and I keep saying it, but we do it better here than anywhere else you can do it. Why wouldn't you do it here? We have an opportunity to grow an economy. When you talk about economic development, you have an opportunity to create the next, and selfishly for me, I like this, but create the next generation of miners, right? But you have the opportunity to help the nation, help the state, and then ultimately, in my opinion, show people what an amazing place this is, because you're going to get more people to come in that go, what the hell are they doing up there?
There are other, states within the United States that are going through the permitting process that are having a heck of a time in their regions as well. One, we got to be able to streamline that process a little bit and make it, not as many loopholes that you have to jump through, and timelines need to be reasonable.
Definitive, right?
And, there's got to be some accountability on the federal government's side of things. And I really believe that you got to look at the facts from the mine itself, right? Look at the project holistically. By itself and go, these guys are set up or they're not. There shouldn't be any, and I know that there's a lot of other things that play into these big projects that are coming online, or even if you're in the critical mineral space, that they, hoops you got to jump through or monies you got to pay. But all that needs to be, in my opinion, has to go away for us to continue to be successful. I mean, Trump's plan right now is we want to be able to produce our own minerals in our own backyards, whether you're in Nevada or Pennsylvania or West Virginia. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is, with groups like Julie at Mining Minnesota that are advocating, to show and highlight all the good things that we're doing. I mean, we're not doing it for just PR. It's like you got people that are really loving the industry, and we're trying to, show what we're doing.
I was just going to say, and you can't create career litigators against the mining industry. That's, I think, the other thing that I've started to notice as we've done more of these podcasts and more things have we've talked to more and more people. It's like people are making it a career, making mining the enemy. Like, you got to realize that this is essential for everyday living.
Well, and it's industry as a whole. And I'll
100%.
give you an example because of something you said triggered this thought in my mind, and I just have to go there. But 30 some odd years ago, and I hate to admit that, when I went to college, if you didn't go to college, you weren't going to amount to anything.
You got it.
And we're seeing the result of that right now, especially in small areas like this. Try to call a plumber. Try to hire an electrician.
Yep.
Try to get a contractor to come out to your house to fix a roof or do something like that. Unless you have the skill yourself, you're going to wait or you're going to suffer. And I think for me, again, I told you I just had a daughter that graduated. And I've seen more and more kids talking about going into the trades again, where trades are cool. And I think that's awesome. STEM, I think, is a big, just following the kids through their school career and knowing that STEM was important again. I think that's fantastic, because that's what we need, because we're suffering from things like you said, litigating everything or trying to figure out other ways. But we need people who can fix stuff, who can do the work, and who can produce. Yeah,
and really all these guys, we were talking earlier too, that all these are a support system for places like this that have mining as an industry. I mean, these are all support systems, right? I mean, those are essential, but I think getting the guys back in the field, in the 70s and 80s, we were a strong economy, and we had guys, framers, iron workers. I mean, you name it. Those were the cool industries to be in. That's what made you a man, right?
I'll take exception to that, because a proud dad of a daughter who just graduated, who wants to go into construction management in college, which I'm very proud of. I think that's important that women have joined the field 100%. As much as they have, and worked alongside and have done the same jobs and do it
just as good, if not better, because they've got more finesse.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that in front of you.
No, I'm going to actually challenge Julie on this, because this is my rub, and I had too many cream sodas here. I think as an industry, we do a phenomenal job of promoting women, which we should. but I would like to see them in the trades as well. Some of the best trainers, some of the best mechanics, some of the best operators that I've ever worked with and got trained from were females.
Yep.
And I think it's an area where we're not pushing or having a conversation as much. And I feel bad for the people, and I'm not going to name any names, but I've had conversations with them that they said, nobody's out there representing me right now. And so we've had conversations, and I'm not beating you up, Julie. I'm just saying. Right. We've had conversations multiple times off the podcast about like, hey, how can we get ourselves represented? So I'm right in line with exactly what you're saying.
That's why I referenced, 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
We just had a strong male workforce.
Yep. Nope.
And now
I wasn't calling you out. I was just making a comment.
No. I mean, well,
sexist.
For me, it's important because nowadays you do. I mean, to have a family and be successful, you have to have two incomes.
Yeah.
And now mom is not staying home as much as she did back in the 70s and 80s, to where you got two people working, having them right alongside. It's got to be equal. We know that. Unfortunately, I think we're still working towards optimizing that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we're all people at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just get out there and do the best things that we can, and provide for the industries that we love, whether you're in construction, mining, logging, whatever it is,
Sponsoring this episode of the podcast, Gold West Fire and Safety Services. When safety is on the line, trust the experts at Gold West Fire and Safety Services. Proudly serving Nevada and surrounding regions, they specialize in fire extinguisher sales and service, fire suppression systems, inspections, and safety training that keeps your team protected and your business compliant. From mines to machine shops, restaurants to rigs, they've got the experience and the gear to keep your operations safe and up to code. Whether it's on-site service or emergency response, they're fast, reliable, and ready when you need. So check out Gold West Fire and Safety Services by clicking the links on the episode notes. You can always go directly to their website at goldwestfire.com, or you can head over to Mining Minds on our business parts page. That's Gold West Fire and Safety Services, fire protection unmatched. So Twin Metals, though, is got a unique perspective. For me, I kept saying it a couple times today, it's like low-hanging fruit, in my opinion, because it is an underground mine. So limited issues with environmental. There's still some. I don't want to act like there's nothing there, but it's not an open pit, so it's looked at differently there. Now you have more overhead costs, and there's some challenges there. But you got a good ore body that you know exactly where it's at.
Beautiful.
And you guys are actually going deeper than you have to ensure that it meets an environmental, it exceeds an environmental standard. I guess like I said, I struggle to understand, and maybe this is
and there again, you have to look around you, and that's where this has been a hotly contested issue since 1966 in this area. There's always been that promise of copper nickel mining, and that's why Minnesota, as a state, has differing regulations for ferrous and non-ferrous mining because of the environmental concerns that were brought up back then. And it's again all part of the creation of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area and this wilderness location that we live in. And I respect that concept. However, what I don't respect is the fact that we need a fair shot at an environmental review process where we can say, hey, take a look at what we have to offer here and
give us a shot.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, outside looking in, what it does is it keeps the locals local. The people that want to live here, I mean, the history runs deep here, right? So it keeps the locals local, keeps the economy thriving, and with the structures that are inside the mine as far as geology, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, it's phenomenal setup.
Going through the geology portion today, you're spot on. It was interesting.
Yeah, and I want to, something that Julie's really good at pointing out is the fact that people forget where things come from. We don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
So all of this equipment, without mining, we'd be,
naked and afraid.
I don't know. We might be in a wood canoe.
I would say we're going to be cold, hungry, naked, and sober.
Yeah. Oh, sober's the worst of those.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, everybody's got to come into the understanding that we're not in the primitive state anymore. It's like we are advancing, and projects like yours are going to be key indicators for the green energy movement. I mean, it's needed, right? Yep. For all these people that want electric cars, love their iPhones, all the technology. But we know that we got to do it safe, but we have to get the minerals at some point. And I will say, you guys are, you guys are patient, not just you specific, but there's projects up here that we've seen today that the permitting process or the pre-feasibility process has been 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, and you've got 100 years of mine life at a couple different projects up here that it's like, wow, why wouldn't you start that?
The resource is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And people don't want to acknowledge that because they're afraid of that. And so I think what we really need is honest conversations about what it is we're looking for,
Sure. Yep.
where we're going to get that, and how do we just continue to work together to make sure that we do the right thing. The resource isn't going anywhere. The only thing that hasn't changed since 1966 is the location of the minerals.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, everything else has.
We've gotten better since then.
Much better.
So and Julie, I'm going to put you on the spot, and please don't, I just don't know, but I heard that basically since the new environmental laws came into effect, we've very limitedly, or if not maybe fully, even permitted anything in the state of Minnesota.
Correct. So the non-ferrous regulations came out in 93, and we have not yet permitted a mine under those.
Which is insane to think about. Like, so you have a new system and you've never even tested the new system.
Correct.
Okay.
And that new system was built on the older system of iron mining. So we have learned the regulations were built off of lessons learned from iron, and we need to just trust those and work through the process.
Yeah, well, it's different mineral, different things, but I mean, some of the the base of the the baseline items stay the same, but that's why you hire professionals and third parties, and you're covering all aspects of the mine to make sure 100% that we're ready to go forward. And it comes into I would imagine some sort of trust scenario, but it's like when you have guys that have done nothing but
what are we pointing at?
What do we got?
I was just going to say, see that Kevlar canoe?
Oh yeah.
You think that's a product of mining?
Oh yeah, absolutely is.
The aluminum one behind it too is, but
oh yeah.
Sorry, I didn't point that out.
No, that's good.
I was just going to add to your conversation, Dino, that you have people that actually care, though. It'd be different if you're just trying to pull something through. And listen, Dino and I are good at detecting bullshit, so I don't think we've detected. I haven't done any of that today. I went, man, these guys are, they're not idle words. They're serious about what they're talking about. I can't understand how I sit across from you and try to argue that if I have had a conversation with you. The only way that doesn't happen is if I don't sit down and have a conversation with you guys or don't understand what you're doing.
Well, I think you'd be, and this is me outside looking in, that you'd be lying to yourself if you actually sat down and had a conversation with a guy like yourself, or even the guy that runs the free underground head frame.
Seraphine, yeah.
It's like we went down there today, and he's doing that all for free. But the pride in mining here is, it's unbelievable. And so if you come into Minnesota and you're touring the Iron Range and you're sitting down with somebody and then you say, you can't do it because this is like, man, you've got the best people in the world here wanting to take care of their state.
The challenge is, and this is where we struggle, and Julie, correct me if I'm wrong, but the challenge is, for us, it's one by one. It's people that want to listen. It's people that want to have that conversation, and people who want to understand. Because there's an emotional argument out there, and it's our surroundings, that any change will ruin that, and that's hard to overcome.
But how many other mines are within a 50-mile radius from here? That's what I look at. I go, are we throwing? Is there stones being thrown for no reason? I mean, this is the iron mining range. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, that's a good point, but that's again why. And you say 93.
Yeah.
So that's why these different types of mining were separated, because this is different than that.
Gotcha.
And the challenge for us is the fact that, through environmental review, we will prove that we can meet or exceed standards. The operating mines that run today support communities in our region. And they do a good job of that. They have a long history of doing that. This area was built on that. And so the groups that oppose projects like ours can't oppose that because it takes away most of the economy.
100%. All right, let's talk about the sponsor of this episode and our good business pards, Liebherr Mining. At Liebherr, they know what it takes to move mountains. That's why they are designing mining equipment that goes beyond expectations, blending raw power with precision engineering. From their rugged excavators to their high-capacity haul trucks, every machine is crafted for durability, efficiency, and the safety of those who operate them. With Liebherr, you also get that trusted service and support. You're never on your own. They have a global network of experts that keep you moving, helping you to get the most out of every shift. So when you need something that's built for the toughest jobs, built for the success of your operation, you need something that's built for mining. Liebherr Mining. Click the links on the episode notes to find out more information.
It's in your face right here. I mean, this is almost like the mecca of mining in the north, in my opinion.
And I'm gonna throw a challenge out there. I would like to actually have a cordial conversation with one of these individuals on the podcast, just understanding what their perspective is. I don't. There's two parts of this, right? You got to have a rational conversation, but I'm interested in their perspective. Maybe I have something wrong, and I'll be the first to admit if I do. I'm obviously biased because I'm third generation miner, but let's open the books to conversation, or open the door to conversation rather than to not, in my opinion.
So real quick, Grover, though, are you biased or are you actually just knowledgeable? Like we always say we're biased because we work in mining. Are we biased or are we experts who are knowledgeable about the industry?
That's a great point.
I'm passionate, so I think that, when somebody's picking on your family, you got to stick up for them. I do think that I do have some knowledge, but I do think that I'm also reasonable enough to have an articulated conversation about. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, right? Like, I think I'm the coolest dad ever, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, we're going to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, I challenge that one too.
See, I'm not opposed to it, but I still know these guys are wrong.
I don't know. I think that from just the stuff that we've heard today, and just looking at the landscape, I mean, I guess what I thought, and I asked Julia, I said, what do you think about because social media is huge now, right? And that's a good form of communication for people to see what you're talking about. But I mean, taking a picture of something like this and going, does this look like mining to you? Or, something along those lines to where it's like, no, it looks like a lake. It's like, yeah, there's people in it. And I mean, at the end of the day, not this place specific, but there's places around here that the water's better than it was before the mine was even there. Yeah. To where I don't know how you can explain that to somebody that just might just not want to listen.
Well, I got a question though, and it ties in with that, Dino, is how do you continue to fight? How do you continue to the hope, you guys and your team continue to push, and there's like no lack of push or fight or doing
pride.
Pride.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start by saying, fortunately, our parent company who sponsors all of the activities and work that we do understands the resource, and that's what we understand, the opportunity that's here, and it's not going away. And what we and our opponents agree on is the fact that at some point in time, this resource will be mined. And for me, I think it's more important to do it with a company that wants to do it right, that wants to follow the science, that wants to follow the regulations and the law, rather than, in the future when we're scrambling to find these minerals, we agree on the fact that this resource will be mined.
Absolutely. And yeah, I hate to say this, but for the people out there thinking, well, they can do it in other places, they can. You're realistically turning a blind eye. But B, it's also not as effective, not as environmentally friendly. So I know we have the conversation better in our backyards all the time, but I think that aligns exactly with what you're saying, is that we can do it here, and we can do it here to the best of our ability, technology-wise, environmentally-wise, safety-wise. Just give us a shot.
But change is hard for a lot of people, and that's what we're dealing with. I mean,
Whose pockets do we need to pad to make this happen? Is all I'm asking.
You don't got enough money, Grover.
Listen, if they're sitting here looking at the view I'm looking at, man, they might not need money.
Is it the 4 loons that you're enjoying right now?
Yeah. Couple ducks. Loons or ducks, right?
Loons. Those are loons.
What's the difference?
Oh my gosh.
Where do we even start?
I will say
I'm embarrassed
know.
right now.
I don't know.
Dean.
Listen, we don't have loons.
Loons are their own species.
They float like a duck.
They're their own species.
I will say
They
that
can't even walk on their own legs. They're so far back, they just would fall over.
continuing,
Tito's like, I'm over it.
Well, continuing, the conversation around, the project specific, if towns like this die and, they start to fall out, the people that aren't from here that come up here, they're not going to have the amenities that they have, right? I mean, it's taken the history of you growing up here and being a part of it all to really understand how to manage it, why to manage it, and what's going to keep it thriving in the future.
Yeah, let's do this podcast in February. I'm serious.
Yeah.
You guys should come back. We'll walk out here. I promise you that. But and you'll see what you're talking about is lack of amenities, lack of people around. The town looks very different.
Sure.
Oh, I bet.
And we love when we have people come in to visit us. And
some dude showing us his boobs.
Yeah, you're gonna have to edit that out.
I'm keeping that in.
Thank you.
But anyway, it's amazing the change that happens, and again, that's what's happened to our economy locally.
Well, I think Arizona's Arizona's in your guys' spot big time too. A lot of big underground mines ready to go. Can't get, they're whether it's they're working through things with the tribes or the local governments, and they're having to prove 10 times more than what you should really. But to me, it's like you're stopping an industry that's keeping the globe moving,
and our economy and national economy moving. I guess one of the last questions I would have was, if you had a crystal ball, what would you say the next 5-10 years look like for Twin Metals and or this area?
Well, we are still very excited about the opportunities that are in front of us. We will work through our challenges. The deposit isn't going anywhere, and we just need to maintain support from our stakeholders. We need to prove that we can do this right, and we're going to continue forward.
How would you say people could support you guys?
Just learn.
Okay.
Learn about us a bit, and we have a website, and that will change as we talk. As we look forward, will our project be the same project that we submitted in 2019? Probably not. Maybe, but it will contain the same minerals. Yeah. And they'll be in the same place.
They still own the same property.
Yeah, and so we'll have to figure out the right way to do it, and we work with non-governmental organizations to understand concerns, those who will talk to us, and we've adapted our plans in the past, and we'll do so in the future. But ultimately, our goal right now is to secure our mineral leases, to make sure that we can then spend the money to engineer the project that'll be sustainable for the future, and that's really where we want to go.
What about you, Dean? You got any wrap-up questions?
No questions. I just want to say thank you for the time.
I appreciate your guys' time. This is fun. I'm out here all the time anyway. So
not just tonight, but even today, having us at your facility, learning. It was amazing just to learn not the history, but the mineral and the ore body and how your guys' office is designed, the wall in your office, and how it mirrors what your ore body and the structures of the material in the ground. It's, not only the history, but just everything you guys are putting behind it was super cool to learn about today.
The attention to detail was overwhelming. And not in a bad way, but it was like, your wall murals or the things that I thought were coasters that were actually, hey, this is what it looks like 100 feet down. This is what it looks like 200 feet down. And it was just like, I wouldn't have thought of that had I not came in and had a conversation. Had Julie not invited us up here to actually speak with you guys.
Well, I forgot the geologist's name.
Kevin,
dude,
and
guy.
He said it best when we were in the core shed. It was that's his story.
Yeah.
You know, those are his facts of the project, and it just to see him as passionate as he is about not just the project, but the facts and the data that he's got behind to back you and the team up is amazing.
And he educated the shit out of me today. Like, I learned a lot.
Doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't. Right? A couple pictures and like crayons, and I'm good. But you got a good team. The people that we were able to meet today, we're phenomenal people, man. So that is awesome to see too.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
And I'll bring it. I just want to bring it back to where we started. I can't believe that the decision that I made to just want to be back here. And where I am today with this project, and it's not easy. It hasn't been easy. It's been challenging, but it's been fun. And to work with people of that caliber on this project to move things forward.
Well,
you can't ask for more.
And to leave a legacy of going, I'm not stopping.
Yeah,
you're not going to stop me as long as I can be here and I can continue to try to work towards this goal. I'm going to do it.
Yep.
I mean, you see the bigger picture, and sometimes I don't think people, communities, governments, whatever, I don't know if they see the bigger picture.
Well, I heard a good comment today at another project, and it was people that might be my age or maybe a little bit older. They're commenting that maybe my kids are going to work there, or my grandkids are going to work there. That's how rich the history is here, and that's how serious people are about staying here to mine.
Yeah.
Julie, before we get out of here,
Yes, sir.
do you have any other comments, statements?
No, I'm so excited to have you up in northeastern Minnesota to see
This is awesome.
to see it and feel it and just smell it. And I know I made fun of you for the loons, but they are a state bird and they're really cool. And I'm really glad you guys came to learn about the projects today. So thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you. I can't believe we're pontooning podcast Pontoon.
Oh,
what are we going to label this one?
I don't know, but it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. How can people? Again, you got a website. What do you know? What's that website?
It's www.twin-metals.com.
Awesome. And he's just Cadillac cruising us across this lake here. Yeah. Beautiful as the sun's going down.
Slow roll with the sunset.
I love it. We appreciate you guys listening. Check them out. Check us out. MiningMindsLLC.com, Facebook, Twitter, X, I guess, Instagram. You on MySpace?
I don't know what that is.
Let's get on MySpace, buddy. Adios. That's going to close this one out. What a hell of an episode. First time we've ever sat on a pontoon boat and podcast. What do you think, Dean?
I think the whole idea of us podcasting on a pontoon, it wasn't just about being on the pontoon. It was about being out at the Boundary Waters and really understanding what body of water, why it's connected to the permitting process. And it was just, it was amazing to see that Dean lives in that neck of the woods, and he's got a cabin or a lake house that passed down through his grandparents. But he's running the project, and he doesn't want to damage those waters either. I mean, that's where he grew up. That's where he wants his family to be, to where I think educating the general public around, and not just the general public, but like we've talked before, these groups that are not as educated, or maybe there's bigger dollars or funds backing some, I would say different things in these areas. Educate yourself a little bit. Like, you've got the best of the families that have started the Iron Range mining, right? You've got generations of families that live up there that enjoy the summers and enjoy everything about being there. They don't want to damage it either, to where I think being able to capture a discussion, on the flip side of some of these podcasts would be a great idea. I know you'd mentioned it a couple times, but Dean was a fantastic host. Just a fantastic person, man.
Yeah, I would say Dean's a good example of what Twin Metals envisions, and that's taking care of business, man, putting the right foot forward, doing the right things for the right reasons. You mentioned a lot of them, man, but touring their facility was really cool. The core shed that they have is awesome. I mean, you guys will see pictures of it, things like that. But the amount of knowledge that they have too, and what they're trying to do, I mean, they're trying to go underground. But to have him host us, to be out there, these guys love the area. We're going to say it on a number of these podcasts. For anybody that's listening, they give a shit about what they have going on. They don't want to ruin that. And I think it's great that we get to sit down and have the opportunity to talk to them. I hope that some of these permitters, I hope that some of these legislative bodies give these guys an opportunity like Twin Metals to prove what they can provide, what they can do.
Well, they've got 140 years plus of mining in that area. It's proven. And I don't think the mining aspect of it is not proven. I think what we have nowadays is different groups that are willing to continue to take money from these projects just for the fact that they want to fight it.
Yep.
And make these companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars for no reason.
Well, and we've talked about it on a couple things, but making a career out of just fighting something because you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
It's not really something you care about. It's just a paycheck coming in. So I do want to say, I do think Twin Metals is doing some cool stuff, man, because they're continuing to invest and they don't have anything guaranteed, right? They're doing the right things for the right reasons. If I'm a guy out there, that's a company I'm putting my name behind.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, there are some patient folks up north. I mean, Dean's been a part of the project now for I think he said 13 to 15 years, but he's got people that have been on the same project for 19 years.
Yeah.
And I just think that's a testament to how much they stand behind their professionalism, their plan, and their dedication to do the right thing.
Well, even the detail in their offices, man, you can tell how much they care. Dean, I would like to thank you again for hosting us. Great opportunity, or a great time that we had out there. A great education. We're environmentalists too. We want to take care of our backyard. Totally awesome opportunity to get out there with you guys. So thank you.
And for those of you that don't know, it's not a sauna, it's a sauna.
All right, brass in. Let us know what you guys thought. If you're out there pounding roads, driving drifts, or pushing throughputs, stay safe.
There's a little town up near the border that you'll find at the end of the road, where the mining men came with their old country names in search of a dream long ago. It's a place full of hard-working people who carved out a life from the earth, and the pioneers' will lives on in them still. This land is a treasure, and they know what it's worth, and I could grow old in Ely. Let the winter wind weather my skin. Let the wilderness hone my muscles and bones till I feel like a young man again. Let the summer sun redden my shoulders as I paddle her water so blue. Yes, I could grow old in Ely. So save me a porch with a view. It's a place where muckalucks are high fashion, and there's room for the wolf and the deer. In a song old as time, we search for the rhyme. In wind on the water, sweet music rings clear, and I I paddle her water so blue. Yes, I could grow old and easy. So save me a porch with a view. Yes, I could grow old and easy. So save me a porch. Just save me